Haunted Mines, game number 1. We are in the finals. The top 4 teams, we have the Raiders and the Space Goofs now going up against each other in a best of 5, everybody. And yeah, it's going to be good. We already had Team Ash play against the Enjoyers. And now we have Space Goofs and Raiders. So those are our top 4 teams, and one of them is going to be the champion in Banshee Cup season number 1. Now, when it comes to draft rules, again, you can only pick a hero once within a series. Once that a hero has been played, he can't be played again in the same series, aka you can only see a hero one time in a best of 3 or best of 5 match. Makes it a little bit more interesting for the audience, so that's our draft rule. And of course, we still have bounties. Now, to be absolutely honest with you, the bounties so far, everybody loves them. The viewers like them, the players like them, but the players also haven't really been willing to risk anything. Specifically now that we're going into the playoffs, they're more interested in the prize money itself. So we have already announced the second season of the Banshee Cup, and we will adjust the bounties a bit. A big part of this tournament for us was also to get feedback from players, from the audience, and see what works and what doesn't. So we have a few adjustments. We're going to make it easier for teams to complete some bounties and have restructured the entire way we're going to do it. The details are going to be relieved in due time. There is, of course, still a chance that the players here are going to go for some bounties and will increase their prize pool a little bit. Just saying that this was always supposed to be a bit of a test as well. And just to make this quite clear, we didn't want to force people into something. This was always meant as an optional. Something that people can do, don't have to. If you want to force people into playing certain heroes, you know, we would play Meta Madness. And while Meta Madness is tons of fun, you can't just do every single tournament Meta Madness style. So it's still supposed to be something a bit special. But I think we have a really cool approach here as well. We just need to fine-tune it a little bit and play with a few levers, and then we can go for that. By the way, why do some people say lever? It's a lever, right? Like, it's clearly a lever. Every single time I hear people talk about lever, I'm just like, am I crazy? Are they crazy? So, yeah, for me, leverage, it's a lever, not a lever. Right? Crystal clear. Just saying. If you call it lever, you're just wrong. You're just absolutely wrong. Anyways, Lucio as our first pick for Haunted Mines. And Sylvanas is again not banned. Sylvanas hasn't been banned, and this is Haunted Mines. If you get Sylvanas here, she's big value. She's absolutely big value. Oh, by the way, people that are coming at me is like, well, it's American English against British English. Whoever says lever is just wrong. I don't care if it's the Americans or if it's the English. Whoever says that is just wrong. Just like that. Sometimes British English is just weird as hell, but like that, there's clearly a right and clearly a wrong way to say it. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked here. Chen against Tyrael. There's a guy here on my YouTube that complained the other day and was like, can you please focus on the game and not tell random stories? And I was like, are you new here? I was like, dude, if you cast thousands and thousands of Heroes of the Storm game solo, at some point you are either going to start to tell people about your day and what else interests you, or you're just going to go batshit crazy. So, appease the random dude that I don't care about on YouTube, or take care of my sanity. You know, I'll take door number 2. Cassia and Joanna. I still cannot believe that Sylvanas hasn't been taken yet. I love Sylvanas here, and Sylvanas has on Haunted Mines been banned time and time again. And if not, then usually first picked. So, but okay. Space Goat is in. Come on, get that ban out. Okay. Unexpected. But now that I see it, I get it. Ooh. Would Haunted Mines be a good map for Monty? Monstrosity Abathon Haunted Mines? I actually think back in the days that was a thing. It's a long time ago, but I mean, you're not going to try a bounty like that in game number 1, I guess. But that is an option. But yes, with Chen and Tyrael, Abathon, it makes sense. Now they go Genji and Malfurion even. Dobby Gia has, by the way, told me that after he heard my criticism about his shitty mounts, he was going to get himself the money pick, but it's not in the store. So he's like, I have to come up with something new. So I'm actually curious what exactly we're going to get from him. But I will have a close look at his mount. So apparently some players really listen to my rants about mounts and shitty skins. And some see the light. Of course, I haven't had a lot of success convincing people that the Deathwing skin is just horrible and it makes him look like an oversized turkey. But at least on the mount option, a couple of people are finally seeing some light and listening to me. Artanis and Sonya. Okay, so triple frontline for them. Artanis in game number 1 already. I mean, damn. I guess against the boss, against the Golem, not bad. Yasu's our final pick, and we get Jaina. Alright, game number 1, everybody. We got the Space Goofs against the Raiders. Let's go. Game number 1 in the best of 5. First game in the series. On the left, we got the Raiders with Sven on Sonya, Crankle on Johanna, Hunter Orc is rocking Lucio. For the swift rotations, we got Nano on Artanis, so they swapped heroes around, and that leaves Gavlo on Cassia. As on the right side of the map, the Space Goofs, the team that kicked the Bratwurst boys out of the tournament together with Team Ash, play on Tyrael, Dobby on Genji, we got the Quasar on Chen, X-Ray on Malfurion, and Yasu is playing Jaina in the first game of the series. So, what's the mount? Okay, I'll let it slide. I mean, it's not really a favorite, but with Genji and everything, I suppose that's okay. A Cloud mount would have been okay. Could have gone for the Cloud mount. There's a couple of others as well where I would have been alright with it. And while this isn't really one of my favorites, I gotta give it to him. Stylistically, it kind of plays. And to be fair to him, he also went into the Skinergy, so he's actually even on the proper color, the right tint. So, alright, I'll let that one slide. Good job. Anyways, Malfurion is also gone, so that's a very good opening for the Raiders. And I would say that the Raiders are definitely one of the favorites now in the tournament to take it all. I mean, we've seen Team Ash, of course, play earlier, and they are one of the other teams that you would expect to do very well. On level 1, we get the Protector of Aya. Still a talent that tilts me. The talent tilts me because I feel it's shit. I really don't like it. I think it should be a bit more impactful. It always feels that even when you have to have an absolutely exceptional game in order to make it worth it. That's at least the feeling that I have. I would love it so much more if they would just find a way to make it a bit more impactful, just a little bit, so that it's more of an option. And maybe that's exactly what Artanis needs, but we'll see how much damage he's going to get out over the course of the game. He still can get good numbers, but it always feels like the talent just doesn't do enough for the amount of stacks that you need to get. I mean, either way, they got the kill, Jaina is gone, and so there's a lot of early game momentum for the blue team. They've taken, damn, they've wall out, they've gotten 2 kills, Sonya's at the bottom of the map, so lead and experience is now also ready for them. And they're even working in another kill, aren't they? Tyrael, if he gets the cooldown back, he's fine. If not, then he's gone. Oi, 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 play, cutting it close there, my friend. 48 points or 39 or whatever that was towards the final moment. So yeah, now Lucio is dead, and so is Cassia. Apparently, the red team still has some fighting spirit left in them and gets a triple kill. Artanis is also gone, 55 stacks for him now. Shando's Clarity is in, and we get the Psionic Synergy. Started off really strong for the blue team, and then it kind of fell apart a little bit. Not too much, I mean, still the early game, of course. The first objective hasn't even spawned yet. We have the lower areas of the map opening up soonish. But yeah, what can the teams pull off here on the first one? I mean, up at the top, there's still Chen going up against Artanis. Sonya, of course, also ready to slam it out a bit with all of this. Yeah, it's all about the Siege Giants right now. Try and get some Siege Giants and a bit of pressure on the lane as everybody is moving down into the mines and starts to get the first stacks towards the Skull minions. So, yeah, Genji is attempting to just steal some away and already does. You just have to make sure that he has the Swift Strike back up so that he can get out of that trouble that he put himself in. And he is able to get away, so yeah, good for him. Not too much. So they're fighting immediately. Sonya's still up at the top. Nano here can also do some serious damage and is getting ready for it. They want to catch up in experience too, which is of course another thing that they have to now try and do here. And at this point, they are doing exactly that. A bit of a push happening over on the left side. The Scrankler is now coming in, trying to take a couple more. 30 to 31, so very, very even what we're seeing between the two teams. And nobody's making any big moves towards the Golem in the middle yet. Actually, as I say it, the red team is starting to go towards it. So Cassia is still getting something done down at the bottom of the map, so good for her. Sonya is taking the camp, but down here, Gavlo needs some assistance and gets rooted instead, and that is the end. So, nicely done. Another kill for the Goofs. You gotta give it to the Goofs. They are they a surprise team? I mean, I think a little bit. It's a team that obviously has a lot of strong players. You have the Quasar in there, just to name the probably best side laner in years. But it's still fascinating how well they've done just being cobbled together as a team and murdering everybody in their path. So super impressive, and the only question here is really how far can they go in all of this? I mean, where's the end? Where does it stop? And maybe it's here. The Raiders are not no pushover team for sure. They've been doing exceptionally well in specifically the qualifiers, of course. And now the only question is, okay, how much more can they do when it comes to the actual top 4 place? The Golem, 60 to 40 skulls, very even, not really a big deal when it comes to the gap. But if you get kills right now, then it's a different story. Gavlo is still alive and makes it out of the fight. Lucio with some insane heals and clutch moments. And then on top of that, we have the kill against Tyrael, which of course hurts a lot. Instead of killing a hero, you lose one and your opponent has a chance to push. And this is exactly where they're headed now. So, yeah, they're making their moves. Swap coming in from Atanas. 85 stacks now, and Crankle goes down, and so does Hunter. So, just as it seems like the Goofs have lost a bit of steam, they're turning it around again by killing Jojo, Lucio, and Artanis. That top fort, taking a lot of damage, hasn't fallen, but just as a comparison, the stronger Golem at the bottom of the map has been defeated by Sven solo and has barely made it through the wall. So yeah, not able to do a whole here. Interesting start into the series then again. Now this is a best of 5, as already pointed out. This is the second winner bracket semi-final. The first one has already been played and Team Ash is waiting in the next round of the winner bracket. Whereas the Enjoyers have dropped down into the losers bracket. Half a level until 10, and then, of course, we're gonna have heroic abilities for the red team that they could use. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, well, if they get level 10 here, just in time, I could maybe even try. Nah, the gap is small. There's no camp that they can fight for. There's really nothing that they can do in that small window that they're gonna have. So we get the barrel for Chen, the huge, no surprises, not that I expected any. And here comes the Ring of Frost, ring, ding and dong. So, can Jaina land that? They have not a lot of stuns, they have Malfurion roots, which is nice, but still. Atanas is going for the suppression pulse. Taking the camp out. Atanas now with 100 stacks on the Protector of Ire. And all the way at the top, more pumpkins. So when it comes to the damage output, Cassia on 21,000, Atanis is sitting at 12k. Nothing to write home about. Mom and Dad are not going to be proud of those numbers just yet. Now you got to really put in a bit more effort if you want a recommendation letter or anything. But 7 kills to 3, that's a different story. So the red team looking at least good when it comes to the team fights. Now the question that I still have is, can they continue doing that with not having access to a whole lot of CC here? Because the only thing that they're essentially relying upon is Malfurion's root, which isn't bad. And this slows, of course, on Jaina. But you normally want to have a little bit more than just that. But again, time will tell. For now, it's just all about the game around the entrance. Yeah, they're just waiting for it. Jumping out, hoping to maybe even kill somebody here. But there's only Sonya down at the bottom of the map, so in the trenches. And with only Sonya being there, that means that they have limited opportunities to get Skull minions. Genji is probably pulling ahead there. Sanctification, Ring of Fail, that didn't connect with anything, and Gavlo gets turned on and killed as Genji zips in, out, wants a kill as well, but they are losing Malfurion instead. They can take Artanis down, so Artanis does again what he does best, dying. It's Krankel now getting crushed too. Yeah, they're losing too much. 10 kills against 4, you can get away with that in the early game. That's not really a problem when the death timers are super low. But once that the game just continues and moves into the mid game, where death timers are slowly starting to increase, if you lose this many heroes in a team fight, you're just in a bad spot. It's just too much. You're losing full map control. It's not even about experience alone. Now, obviously, you're trailing and you're slowly falling behind in talents. But what's oftentimes even more important is that you're losing any kind of map control that you might have previously had. So, yeah. 51 stacks already. Sven is trying to at least steal some of them away. He's gonna get a few. The question is just how many. 69 to 30. They're trying to go for the kill. Yeah, nice kill. Malfurion is gone. Malfurion gone, and that's a good move. So it's gonna be 41 to 59. They leave one skull still standing there. Somebody will have to pick that up. This is, by the way, an old strategy, kinda, that was always super annoying. You have just some people, you know, they don't feel confident. Like, they don't have the proper numbers in Skull Minions, so you just let one sit there and force the opponent to, at some point, move a hero into the lower area and pick it up to get the golem spawned. And that has resulted in the occasional game and nobody just went in. Everybody was just like sitting around, nobody wanted to go for it, and everybody was just like, yeah, well, okay, I guess we're gonna play without golems on this one. I doubt that we're gonna get that here. Eventually the red team is gonna move, I guess, Genji over and yeah, make him grab it. But they've lost the second fort, so 2 forts are gone. Jaina is gone too. The Goofs, it's actually kind of wild. They have 10 kills to 6 still. But they've now lost 2 forts and they lost a lot of momentum. The skull has been picked up, so it's 60 to 40 once again. But still a bit of a wild situation. Because it's both on 13. And technically you would have expected, or I would have expected, the red team, given the amount of kills, to move ahead a bit more. I mean, take a look at experience, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about here. Hero experience. Big advantage. Big advantage for the blue team. It's the minion experience where they're losing a lot of that. And of course the passive experience adds on top of it too. So that's another aspect on all of this. Everybody's just defending, so there's not... Like, the rule of thumb was always, if you have a big golem, push with it. But the difference is not that huge. 60 to 40% is nothing where you're just like, oh my god, no. Let's push. So, yeah. It's still a pretty even game. So yeah, for this series, who is gonna claim victory? 180 stacks also for Artanis. Working a bit more damage in there. He's already died a few times, which of course slows his progress down too. They're really going for that camp, aren't they? Suppression pulse is in. Malfurion with Tranquility. Ring is out. They grab the camp. Sanctification as they're attempting to turn it on Sonya. They want the kill. They nearly got it too. Genji moves in. And Jaina follows it up and gets the double kill for the team. They make it a triple. And Nano, he's the punching ball of the camp. And that is that. So, yep. He gets killed too, and yeah, just look at this. Exceptionally well done. I mean, first Genji comes in after the root. The root was great, and then Genji with the X-Strike, and then Jaina says like, well, thank you, I got this. Takes them down. That's 14 kills to 6. They are level ahead again, and they're just running with the momentum here. So, very smooth from the Space Goofs. Yeah, and the death timers again. Increasing, 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 and the higher they get, the more of an advantage the team has that is able to get some kills together. So, yeah. they're just sitting tight. They don't want to die right now. They don't want to risk anything before they have 5 on the map. And they also know that they're going up against an opponent that's very soon going to lock in that level 16 talent, which is going to give them a power spike, which is exactly what we're getting here. So, this is going to be a bit tough. Blue team needs to somehow get themselves a couple of skulls, and the question will always remain, how are you going to pull that off if your opponent is that heavily ahead right now? So yeah, what are they going to do with this? Spin to win is already in full swing over here. Undeads are spawning in 6 seconds. We get the numbing blast again, and also the final cut, and they're already spreading out through the mines. Everybody is at the top side for the blue team, so yeah, you can take some of the minion waves and try to get experience, so that definitely works, but it's only going to get you so much. They're rotating down to the bottom of the map now. It's actually kind of funny because the red team was trying to get through the mines and was hoping that they were still at the top so they could flank them and force a fight with level 16 advantage, which has kind of backfired. They got 28 stacks already, but they're losing a decent amount at the bottom of the map, and now we have level 16 also for the opponent's team. So, yep, there we go. Fight is slowly kicking in. And what can they do here? Oh, they get a kill on Tyrael basically instantly. Sanctification never used here. So, yep, well done. Cool move, but can they get another one? Ice block? It's not enough to save Jaina. Nano also is about to die, so that's Atanis at least gone. They can take him out. Atanis is eliminated, Genji is gone. It's again just a bloodbath here, but this time the blue team is much more successful. Able to take out multiple heroes. They themselves only had to sacrifice one, so the situation is starting to look up. And they are actually the ones that will get the bigger golem, by far. I mean, by far. Right now it's just back and forth battles and wins during these fights, so it's an interesting situation. It's a pretty interesting game that we now have ahead of us. 60 skulls, and they're gonna get more. This is probably gonna be the biggest one of all of them, unless the Quasar is able to sneak some, and the answer is basically no. Yeah, they got 70 already. 70 to 30 is what we're gonna talk about. There's one left at the bottom right. Tannis with the ult, blessed shield, out, and oh, missed. But Lucio's dead. Ring of Frost. Still trying to get away here. Cranker! He's gone. Joanna is gone. Just as it looked good for the team. Oh, that's frustrating for the Raiders. Just as it started, it looked good. They finally won another fight. They won an objective. And then they lose 2 heroes. So now the golem is going to spawn. And the defense should be easy because it's a 5 versus 3 on the map. And that's nothing that they can properly play around. So, yeah. Wild games. Definitely wild games that we're now getting today. Damage output, Atanis, 38,000. Second highest damage dealer on the team. Not insane, but decent. 43,000 for Genji. 39,000 for Jaina. So, yep. Atanis also trading damage for deaths at 5 deaths already. Sony hasn't died once. Sven is just a survivor, isn't he? Sven is sitting here all day, every day, and he's just like, yeah, dying. Nah, don't like it. Not for me. Others can give it a try. I'm fine, thank you. So, 8 kills ahead still. This teeny weeny golem down here. Oh, isn't he cute? He's maybe gonna get a tower too, but that's about it. That golem is not gonna make any big plays. This bad boy at the top, on the other hand, that's a different story. This bad boy could definitely do some work. The gate is gone, the wall is gone, and now the keep. Can they grab that too? That would be the dream here. The leading experience still goes to the red team. But how much can they actually accomplish with this? They're poking it, and yep, that one is eliminated. It's an interesting one. Interesting first game. Still a 1 level advantage, but they're just it's basically like they're not getting any structures. That's the problem. They're doing some decent work with team fights. They're taking a lot of heroes down. They win their battles, and then they just lose the objective. That's essentially what happens. At the bottom of the map, they have at least opened things up. So if they win another fight, if they have level 20 talents, for example, they could try and siege up down here and take a keep out. But yeah, it's a wild game. Now we have not really the best stacks for Thanos just yet, but who knows, if he gets a bit more towards the late game, he can start to bring some damage in. But it's half a level until 20, and this is clearly what the red team is waiting for. They're playing this a bit more passive. They don't want to be too aggressive with all of this, and they're just saying, you know what, boys, we are just going to wait this out. We get Storm Talons, and then once we have them, then we're going to start making a few moves and try to siege up, maybe down the top side 4, take that out first, draw even in structures. If our opponent fights for it, we can try and lock them in, get a kill, and then snowball the entire endeavor. And this is probably what's going to at least be attempted here. But level 20 is in. Level 20 is ready. Well, there it is. And that gives us the Purifying Brew, also the Lunar Shower. Better than Golden Shower, also I'm told. Could ask the Donut. And we got Ice Blink and the Holy Arena. So, but it's only half a level of a gap. So, nothing too crazy. The fort is gone. They had to give this one up. No chance here. And what else is there? I mean, right now, they're just poking. They're trying to get a few more camps. Map control as much as they can. Situation in structures is even. It's going to come down to a team fight, of course, with all of this. But yeah, it's going to be 20 versus 20 for the objective, so not bad for the Raiders. This is actually about as good as it gets. Yes, they suffered a little bit. They had to move back just a tiny bit, but they're still able to at least fight on eye level as it comes to the next objective. And now get the Zealot charge. We got Ignore Pain. Yeah, and here's the move straight down into the mines. That's already a welcome committee. Just trying to say hello quickly. And is it a kill? The Holy Arena is out. Tranquility as well. They're getting all of the AoE ults out. But Play gets focused, and that's the end. Oh my god, of Tyrael, Jaina, and Chen. Oof. That one hurts. Yeah, that definitely did hurt. I feel a little bit bad for them right now. I mean, have a look at that. That was rough. So on this one, yeah, everybody just died. And they instantly move towards the top side to take the keep out. They're not even wasting their time with anything else. They're not trying to go for the golem. They're just saying, okay, boys, let's go. Let's go, keep. They drop Malfurion, and this is certainly looking like it's the beginning of the end. They're moving straight towards the core, and I mean, let's be honest here. Who is gonna stop them, right? That is going to be the 1-0 in the best of 5 series right here, right now. Genji is gone, 5-man team wipe. And that means the Raiders take the lead in the best of 5, the 1-0 after victory on Haunted Mines. Well played. Nicely done, and GG. Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV. Game number 2, Alterac Pass, 1-0 for the Raiders after Haunted Mines. Now the 10 heroes that have been played cannot be played again. But we're heading into the second map, Space Goofs. I mean, they looked strong. They had so many, they had a huge amount of team fights where they were just dominant. But also really good decision making by the Raiders. They win this one fight in the mines and then they immediately see, guys, we got a chance. Let's go keep. They have an opportunity to go core. They take it right away. And it was just that late game fight that absolutely wrecked their opponents. So yes, nicely done by the Raiders. Definitely one of the strongest teams that we currently have in the top 4. I mean, we're down to the top 4 teams, so yeah, there's that. But I still want to see what exactly the Space Goofs can do, because I'm definitely not going to count them out here. They've played too many great games, and they again are also the team that kicked out the Bratwurst boys from the tournament. Bratwurst boys did not make it past the group stage, which is kind of crazy. Same is also true for a lot of others, like the Svenskas, that also didn't make it. So Anubarak gets banned. He's the hero that is always the most annoying when you're talking about this, because at the end of the day he can just start channeling the prisoner camp and go for it without anybody helping out on this. Sylvanas gets the ban hammer as well. Yeah. Bit curious what Nano's going to play. I expected him, even in game number 1, to go straight away for Chromie, Hanzo, you know, something along those lines. Instead he played Artanis, who, by the way, seems to be viable. I mean, 100% win rate, right? Artanis, 100%, crowd goes wild. Viable, viable. So everybody's dancing, having some fun there. Clearly the reason they took it. So yeah, Artanis in the house. Who knows, maybe we're gonna see him later on this. But for now, it's usually just play Chromie, play Hanzo. At least in the earlier games. Rega getting banned. Oh, and take Quasar insta-pick. Talking about not wasting time. That man has been spamming the button the entire time. He's just like, I want this hero, let's go. Yeah, and he got it. So, good for him. Hogga is in. Hogga is great here. Spin to win, get the camp really easily in the middle of the map, and then once you start to go for bosses, you can do the same thing too. It's just wild to me that he didn't go for Blaze. Like, normally it's just always the Quasar plays Blaze. And this time he prioritizes Hogga on Aldrich Pass at least, which leaves Blaze open for Sven, so he can take it. But yeah, pretty nice interplay between them here. Still curious what we're going to get specifically from Nano. And Gavlo, honestly. I think Gavlo is eventually going to use Tracer as well, which he normally does. Now with Dobby playing Hanzo, that means that Nano can't get him anymore. Could still play Chromie if they want to run her on Aldrich Pass. Still a couple of globals, obviously. I mean, the Haka is more or less out since we already have our side laners, but you can still play Falstad if you wanted to. Samuro is also up as another choice that you could get. Yeah. And let's see. Garrosh gets the ban hammer. Are there orcs with hair? There are orcs with hair, right? I so don't care about lore. Oh, like even in the game there are orcs with hair, so yeah. I really don't care about lore whatsoever. So I just see Garrosh and I see the model and it's like his body's like, are they all like that? And it's just like, yeah, but yes, yeah, now that I actually think about it. It might be obvious to some people. It's one of those things that you usually don't think about, right? So, at least you shouldn't. It's not really hair. Get some like dandruff or whatever. Alright. Yeah. There's Tracer. Told you. Gavlo. Gavlo on Tracer. We get Diablo on Blaze. But yeah. Yeah. my brain is a fun place. So, Yasuo in play, our final ones. We still need a main tank for them. And, well... I mean, come on, boys. Muradin, the dwarf, Varian, and Sergeant Hammer. Okay, that took a little bit of a turn. Sergeant Hammer. Okay, well, let's siege into that. Going up against Blaze, Diablo, Bribing, and there's a lot of CC. With siege tactics, you can avoid a lot. Can you avoid all? Different story. So, Nano, the final one. It kind of screams Chromie, right? Aldrich Pass, game number 2. Raiders are in the lead. Space Goofs would love to take a W here. So let's see who takes it. Second game in the best of 5 series here in the winner bracket in the top 4 of Banshee Cup season number 1. Raiders against Space Goofs, the second map. Hunter Orc on the left playing Brightwing for the team in the lead. We have Gavlo on Tracer, Krankle on Diablo, Nano on Chromie, and Sven on Blaze. Right side of the map, Yasuo with Sergeant Hammer for the Space Goofs. They are going to try and lock in a win here to tie the series up and not fall too far behind. Nobody wants to have to pull off a reverse sweep in order to get to the next round. Quasar on Hogga, X-Ray on Anduin. We got Play on Varian, and Dobby is playing Hanzo in game number 2. So, who's able to take the lead here? Let's have a look at this. We already have on level 1 the advanced artillery. We're getting for Brightwing the hyper shift. Hanzo also with the usual choice, and Chromie is gonna fire away as much as she can with a deep breathing. Deep breathing method. Alright. But yeah, Sergeant Hammer is going to be absolutely key. So they have Anduin, they have the father-son duo in order to protect the hammer. Anduin can always pull targets out, Play is going to go taunt, and then can taunt anybody that is trying to make a big play for Sergeant Hammer. So Yasuo is the one that will have to dish out most of the damage. I mean, granted, Hanzo is going to chuck damage in too, but you want to get that single target damage in. Specifically, of course, against Diablo later, but essentially against everyone else too. Yeah. Chasing Blaze away. Oh, talk about chasing. Goodbye, Sergeant Hammer. That was a quick one. Yeah. So much for Hammer time. I mean, Sergeant Hammer is obviously starting to really get nice once that you have level 7 and you have a bit more mobility with the hero. But still, fairly annoying to lose her this early in the game. Chromie can just from a distance start to poke those hit points down, which is exactly what they've been doing here. But yeah, what else can they now pull off? Is that just a start to gain a bit more momentum in all of this, or what's going to be the play for them? Yeah, if they can get another kill here, that would be great. They go for Yasuo again. Can't quite get the drop, but got close. I like how aggressive they are. I really like it quite a bit. So they're trying to just consistently apply pressure to Sergeant Hammer, but now that she's in position, guarded by the Space Goofs, and they have their level 4 talent, they can already do more work. The regenerative Biosteel is in, so no siege tactics, even against all of the CC that exists on the side of the Raiders. Varian has Taunt available, and they take the entire wall out. So Yasuo has been doing pretty okay here. Anduin has to pay attention, as I already said earlier, and has a straight in again, but Tracer comes in and ruthlessly takes out Sergeant Hammer for the second time. So that's 2 kills in a row against the same target, and shutting her down nicely. Obviously, you need to still get level 7 for the movement, and then things will change, but the Raiders are capitalizing very nicely on that kill. Taking the entire wall down. So it looked initially like, okay, red team is pulling ahead on structures, and then BAM! Hammer goes down, and the blue team comes in, takes the entire wall, and then splits onto the auxiliary lanes in an attempt to get also ahead in experience, which they've accomplished. I mean, they are ahead by half a level. So Raiders with momentum, and even an attempt to go for the objective. Okay. So, yeah, next one here. Sergeant Hammer. Now that they're falling a bit behind, experience at level 7 advantage that we're going to see for the Raiders is probably not going to be used for anything too crazy, but it's still nice to start pulling ahead here. And with level 10 it might not make a big difference for them, but once that we're getting into level 10 territory, that's definitely a very different story. So if you can expand on that advantage just by a bit, that would already be pretty good. Yeah, so okay, pushing Diablo back, but they will still can engage, and Anduin will stop there for a moment too. But not really a problem, and now we're gonna get hover siege mode, and that's it. This is, by the way, one of those typical talents. If we would ever get another balance patch, not happening, like a proper one, then this is one of those typical talents that needs to be baseline. This is the most useless talent tier for Sergeant Hammer. I mean, name a single tournament where Sergeant Hammer has been... Name a single time that a Sergeant Hammer player that can rub 2 brain cells together has picked anything else but hover siege mode on level 7. See? Can't name anything. I hear nothing. I hear absolutely nothing, so yeah. And that's a bit of a problem. They've done it with other talents in the past, and I think with Sergeant Hammer they need to do something like that too. Now obviously you can always argue that Sergeant Hammer would be even stronger if that would be a baseline talent at level 7, and then you could pick an additional talent on top of that. You might want to nerf some things, but still, if you're talking playstyle, it is just mandatory whenever Hammer gets to see some play. So yeah. But then again, with that now, we have 3 kills to 0, we have a level lead, they're getting closer to level 10. In addition to that, we're also having them push straight up for the bottom fort, and they're nearly getting the entire thing, even without utilizing level 10 talents and relying on them. So, yeah, there's that. Sergeant Hammer still boosting around a little bit, but the heroics are now going to kick in. And once that they're there, you can make the big plays. So Krankle gets hit. Krankle, yeah, they wanted to go for him for just a moment there, but Varian already used his taunt, so he can't go for Hunter Hawk, for example. Oh, yeah, nice. An attempt at getting Hanzo'd. Yeah, Brightwing with a heal. Oh, now the fruit fly is gone. Brightwing is eliminated. They have level 10. It was not enough to reposition in time. So good for the Space Goofs, coming in aggressively and yes, getting the kill. But then they're also losing Sergeant Hammer on the way back out. So yeah, kind of ruined the entire thing again. I mean, they tried. They did well, but just not well enough. Now, 4 kills to 1 still tells the tale. At this point, the blue team is in the driver's seat. Now heroics are kicking in for their opponents, so maybe a chance to now bring it back. They have CC, and they're adding Arrow, they're adding Light Bomb, they have a Shockwave. That's a lot. That's a lot of additional CC that they just used there. Bottom fort is still gone, and Hanzo is also getting killed. So yeah, Tracer got a kill against Hanzo at the bottom of the map, and then they take the fort out. That's even more momentum for them. So, good stuff. Nobody has gone for an objective yet, by the way. Sven is the first one to start to channel it here. And that is now 6.5 minutes into the game as we are on level 11 for one of the teams. So fairly late in comparison to what recently has been played on Aldrich Pass. But yeah, the first fort is destroyed, and I suppose they have the advantage on this one locked in. 14 seconds missing. They're still buying some time. There's the stun combo though. Bunker is out instantly in order to try and shut it down. They're making a move for play, and Anduin has his hands full, literally and figuratively, trying to make sure that nobody falls. But it is an objective in favor of the blue team. Only question that remains is, can their opponents, can the Space Goofs kill a hero or two as they're retreating? There's Taunt, and yeah, he's gonna die. Diablo's gonna die. But he has a soul stack, so he loses souls, but he will be back. If this is the only price that they paid to get objective number 1, I mean, then so be it. Big wave also here in the middle. Hogger is already on his way down to the bottom of the map because, yep, that's a big push hit there with just minion waves. And then you get the cavalry pushing in. That's gonna hurt. So, still, 13 is close. Could get one too. And we'll see how much more they can now take down. Is it going to be another fort that falls here? Or are they only able to get some damage? Well, they're getting kills! Hanzo gets killed. There's the taunt from play, as he was hoping to redirect damage and take one hero out, but that's in vain. So now the top fort will fall 100%. And in the middle, that's pretty decent damage as well. It's more than I thought. Yeah, they can rotate over and try and take it now. There's already the bomb out from Tracer. Damn, they are crushing it. The Raiders in top shape right now. I like it. Arrow! Big stun. And the BFG behind it. Blaze gone, Diablo gone. Hammer gets murdered by Chromie. Yeah, if you give Chromie to Nano, then that is something that is just going to happen. Nano's still on the run and is also able to get away. God, that little witch is annoying. Let's just like slap her. Seriously. That's the only thing that she deserves. Annoying as hell. Wasn't she called Sand Hitler by a couple of people? I can absolutely understand why. Like, honestly, screw Chromie. There's certain heroes you just don't want to play against, and she's one of them. So yeah, just firing away from there. 14 against 13, and she is evil. Pure evil. Don't let yourself be fooled by that voice. Shut up. So yeah, 7 kills to 4. We got level 13 in, and now we got also Pummel and the line boot speed right there. But the boss will be taken. Each team takes one. It's the traditional split with top and bot lane. The real difference is really one team has to go for the fort, the other one has to go for the keep. So yeah, there's a little bit too much going on right now. Tracer is already escorting the boss in at the bottom of the map. Hanzo is the only one that is attempting to deal with this. And he's died actually 3 times. So yeah, 3 times eliminated. Chromie is at 30,000 damage now. Krangle gets taunted. The fort at the top has at least fallen. The question is just simply how much can the boss at the bottom of the map do. A little bit of keep damage is probably the best that they can get here. Ooh, big arrow. Ooh. He pushed away from it. I don't even think that was intentional. I don't even think that was intentional. He didn't see the arrow. He didn't try and dodge. Talking about dodging. Dodge that, Dobby. That's the keep. That is the first armor shield removed. Yep, goodbye. Keep is gone. But, yep, that was kind of wild. So, while they're retreating, a bit of pressure in the middle. Really? You want to fight? 5 versus 4? I would rethink that quickly. And, yeah, well, not quickly enough. So, just a bit of a news here. There's no way they're pushing for core. Look at this. Big arrow, and then he just pushes out. There is no way he really tried to dodge that. He didn't see that coming. But still, good for him. With one armor shield removed, you don't go core just yet unless you really, really have an advantage. And probably more so in the late game than anywhere else, but they have level 16. And they can go for the next objective, and that's exactly where they're headed. Sven is already starting to channel it through. We're starting to make his play there. And they are only going for the camp. I mean, what else are they going to do? They have half a level until 16, and before you have a talent parity with your opponent, you would be ill-advised to make a big play there. Diablo also still trying to stack a couple of souls. I always feel bad for these horses when I see Diablo on them. I mean, he is not really... He is heavy-boned, is what you would say these days, I suppose. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's beautiful just the way that he is. Kappa. But that poor horse. I mean, damn. So, yeah. That is not a happy horse, I can tell you that much. Money Pig can carry that no problem. It's a mythical creature anyways. Light Bomb comes in, and there's the barbecue as Diablo tries to burn him to a crisp. Anduin saves Daddy, but Tracer dies. And oh boy, that arrow, whoo, still flying. So, yeah, that's a few arrows that... Nah, no, that also doesn't hit anything. I think at some point we need the BFG cam. So they're down one player as they're trying to push with the second set of cavalry that they got. So they're going to try and play that one out. It's kind of funny. You get the cavalry, and the first thing that happens is you lose a fort. And they lost Sven. So Blaze is gone. And yeah, there it is. But yeah, top side is getting pushed. This one is not going to be too much of a problem. It's still going to damage the core, but obviously that can heal. Tracer is already on her way back in a moment, but can they get a kill with Chromie before she's even there with the team? Not likely. All the way up at the top. Yep, Dequaza is taking care of all of this. Essentially, I mean, if we're honest, it didn't really do a whole lot, did it now? The objective that they got, it didn't really help them a lot. It pushed the side lanes out. Still did some damage at the top and opens up the wall here on the keep. Has done damage at the core. Not that it matters. Of course, obviously going to get the hit points back pretty quickly. So it's not a problem. But, yeah. Yasuo is moving in. Dobby, Dequaza, they're all just going for the camp. There's not very little to do on the map right now. It's a level advantage that we are still holding on to for the Raiders. They have 9 kills to 6. They're a level ahead. They want to go into level 20. Nano with the Master Taunt over here. I mean, good for him. What's the damage on Chromie right now? Disgusting. 61,000. More than Sergeant Hammer. More than a tank. Yeah. Questionable. To say the least. Diablo! Alright, he's still alive. He's good. Is it good to go? Light Bomb. Tracer is trying to go for Sergeant Hammer again. Tracer Sergeant Hammer is also an interesting interplay because that's the one thing that Tracer cannot dodge. Auto attacks. So, yeah. Sergeant Hammer with good damage can actually be a problem for Tracer. But Hogger is now down, so is Varian. And all of a sudden it's a 5 versus 3, so they get the kills. They are half a level away from 20. The objective is not up. But what about the boss? Yeah, the boss is up. So that's a freebie. That's a free boss at the top lane. And since the wall, if I'm not mistaken, yep, has basically been taken out, this is a keep. And potentially a play for core, because when you have level 20 and your opponent has only 1 armor shield left on their core, that's the moment where you want to push and just go for gold. And with the 2-0 lead, if they are able to get that, oof, then the Space Goofs are in for a very, very tough one. Coming back when you're 0-2 is hard. It's really difficult. Going for full-on reverse sweep is near impossible, and this gets worse. I mean, look at this. The keep is basically disappearing before the boss is even there. So unless the Space Goofs are getting kills now, this is it. This is going to be a 2-0 advantage. So, yeah. Goofs to the rescue, potentially. I mean, they gotta do something here, but can they? Is this manageable for them? Oh, no! Not like that! That's not how you want to start that. Sergeant Hammer instantly gone, and yeah, obviously, this is now a foregone conclusion. You lose Sergeant Hammer in that situation, and it's just lights out. The core is falling, it's falling quickly. Level 20 talent is too strong, and it's a 5 versus 4 in the first place. So that is game 2-0 for the Raiders against the Space Goofs in this best of 5 series. Well played. I mean, you gotta give it to the Raiders. That's a pretty impressive performance that they have. And with 14 kills to 7, they definitely deserve that win. GG. To the Spider Queen, game number 3. So a 2-0 lead for the Raiders, meaning that we now have a big task ahead of the red team. A reverse sweep if they want to make it into the next round of the winner's bracket right away. The Raiders, on the other hand, all they need is one more win. And again, this is a best of 5. They have a 2-0. They could go for a bounty. So this is the perfect situation for a bounty. Now I can understand that a lot of the teams are shying away from bounties in the top 4 because again you really want to win the tournament. But as you can see here, we have still a lot of bounties for the teams left because so far only one team has been able to complete a bounty, and that was the Bratwurst boys. So yeah, that's just what it is. But as I said before, we have a second season for the Banshee Cup already announced, and we have made a couple of adjustments. I'm going to tell you soon about it, of what we're now doing with bounties, and we're going to see a lot more in season number 2. So we had a couple of ideas after we've talked to players, after we've also taken feedback from the audience to see how we are going to adjust the system. I think that the bounty system in general is still super fun, and it's going to be another concept that's going to establish itself next to Meta Madness, which is of course its own thing, and also pretty sweet here. So, as we're heading into our 3rd map and potentially the last one in this series, I mean, this is the best of 5 after all. We have Junkrat banned out, which is probably, well, Junkrat, Mephisto, and Medivh, I would say, are the key heroes to ban out here. Maiev is strong no matter who takes it, but those 3, specifically 4 Tomb, are insanely annoying to deal with. There's a lot of interrupt that you have, then you have the easy rotations with Medivh if he gets taken. The lanes are so close together that he can empower pretty much anything. So yeah, there's that. Urel gets picked early. First pick for them. Yeah, and what are the Raiders now going to try and pull off here? Garrosh? I would love some combos. Garrosh and Uther. Alright. I'm still hoping that they are now, with the lead that they have, thinking about going for a bounty. Then again, you obviously are also in a situation, you know, when you're like looking at potentially taking some wins with bounties, and then you lose the series because of it. You lose the first map, you're going back into a regular style, but all of a sudden your opponent has momentum. Yeah, that could be rough. Tassadar, okay. So we get Tassadar as a pick. I love that we're getting Tassadar a bit more often now. He's been played in the qualifiers. I believe he has been played in the group stage too. So yeah, Yasuo is locking him in. It's not often that I see a Protoss and I'm like, awesome. Yeah. Only a dead Protoss is a good Protoss. Actually, in Heroes of the Storm, most of them are pretty good. I like seeing Zeratul. Zeratul is a lot of fun to watch. Tassadar is the same. So yeah, and they put the good ones into the Nexus. But yeah, nobody wants that A-move blob. Okay, so Ana is gone, and so is Kerrigan. So both Maiev and Kerrigan have gotten the boot. Yeah, nobody wants to go and play against a super aggressive melee assassin that can just either tether you in, stun you out, and just start all kinds of pain here. With the Nubarak and Urel, you have a true and tried combo. I mean, that's what has been played in the Eastern Clash for a long time, when HGC was still a thing. We get Vala and we get Rexa. Alright. Rexa on the side. And now Nano Kel'Thuzad. Clearly. Nano Kel'Thuzad for the bounty. It's a thing, guys. It's a thing. It's definitely gonna happen. They need a mage. Gul'dan, overrated. Don't need that guy. Space Goofs with Deckard Cain and their Sylvanas, okay. Deckard Cain, Sylvanas, a really nice dive potential that they have. Good wave clear now too. Sylvanas, Tassadar, between the two of them, they have a lot. Yeah, and that leaves us with last but not least, our boy Nano. Chromie's out, Hanzo as well. Junkrat, who oftentimes plays, also not available anymore. Mephisto, who plays, is also gone. Is it going to be Gul'dan? Or Oriel? Double support. Okay, so Vala hyper carry. Oriel plus Uther, Vala as a hyper carry. Unexpected, but hey, let's go for it. Tomb of the Spider Queen, match point, and number 1 for the Raiders. Tomb of the Spider Queen. The Raiders with a 2-0 lead against the Space Goofs, and it is match point. Sven on Rexa for the side lane on the blue team. We have Krankle with Garrosh, Nano on Oriel. Hunter plays Uther and Gavlo on Vala. I mean, obviously going into Creed of the Hunter now. With a double support, you really want to go into auto attack style and just crush your opponent. So we have a hyper carry scenario for the blue team as the Space Goofs start things with Dobby on Sylvanas, X-Ray on Deckard Cain, Yazu on Tassadar. We got Dequaz on Urel, and play at the front is playing an Uberak. So, good stuff. We already have the Psi Infusion in, and we got the Overwhelming Affliction for Sylvanas. So, time to party and see what Vala can do, how many stacks they can get with her, how long they can keep her alive. The goal of the Space Goofs is, of course, going to be to take her down. You want to move in and get some kills there. That has to be the goal. Remove some of those Gambit stacks that she is definitely going to run for as long as she possibly can. So, what are we gonna get from Gavlo? How aggressive is he going to be in an attempt to get himself a few more stacks? At the bottom of the map, we already got Dequaza established against Sven. I mean, again, nothing really too insane. The top is being pushed as well as Hunter Orc has to move away. Deckard Cain with the entire place. 3 stacks for Vala. Ding, 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 ding. Getting a couple of hits in. But they're trying to stay away from her. So they're trying to just like stay a little bit farther back, not give her too many opportunities. The more you brawl in your early game against the double support Vala, sort of the harder it gets. As long as you dodge the stuns and a lot of the poke AoE, you're going to be fine here. But the stuns are really it. So Tassadar is already going to put the first couple of walls out. They still, I mean, yeah, there's no Leo combo or anything with Tassadar. We can just put a lid on it. Bottom of the map, Vala's now coming in, but they're already losing it even before she makes a move. Sylvanas is gone. Dequaza still wants to hold on to it. Has used his escape. He's gonna die. He's just gonna die. Is he gonna get the cooldown back in time to get out here? They're trying to fight it, but the longer they fight, the better for Vala. They actually took the camp. Kudos to them. They lost one hero and then they grabbed the camp regardless. Chapeau. Not bad. Not a lot of stacks for Vala either. That fight didn't last as long as she would have liked. But anything that can really help her to get some additional hits in is of course great. So far Gavlo has been desperately trying to get a bit more done, but hasn't really been able to do a whole lot. So yeah, 16 stacks, works them slowly. We'll see. Oriel, always pretty efficient with the whip. And now we have on the level 4 Electric Fence. You get the Hand of Freedom. It's of course about trying to take some of the gems in. Sylvanas is already pushing for the camp and they're getting theirs first. I mean, it's always a little bit of a risky play when you're going for the super high carry setup with the 2 supports here. You have a lot of CC that you can use, but it really hinges on the Vala player. And keep in mind that Gavlo loves to play Tracer, so all of these like mobile auto attack style heroes is something that he enjoys to rock. And they could definitely pose a big problem to the Space Goofs if they are able to keep the auto attack speed for Vala in play. If they don't let her die, if she doesn't lose those Gambit stacks and can then rely later on auto attack speed plus Manticore, which is where most of the damage is really coming from. So, yeah. Or at least a lot of it. Oriel now against Sylvanas up at the top. Definitely not a position where she's going to be super comfortable in. So she's going to need help eventually. But it's a kill against 0 in favor of the Raiders. They have also the higher gem count that they could try and use here. What they have to do though is turn some in. Well, there's the wall. But Krankle is so far more or less unimpressed. Okay, the old man is getting hit a little bit. Same true for Tassadar. Vala, of course, keeping the hatred stacks up as much as she can. Yeah, gets another one locked in against the new Brock, so not too bad. He's working it. Hot pursuit on level 7. Yeah, the wall is also gone. And they now have the mercenary camp. At least a few remainers were still in play. And Nubarak gets nearly wrecked there. Nice whip. Does he still die? And yes, he does. Vala is able to get the attack. Was a bit low there, but got the heals from the 2 supports, and so she's still fine and good to go. So now they can start with the turn-in. They definitely have the numbers. A bit was taken out at the top. Nice stun. Good throw. That was great. That was fantastic. And it's a kill against Sylvanas. Huge play. Krankle in particular throwing Uther forward for the stun, and then Vala following up on it. That was awesome. Love it. Look at this. Throw him in, bam, stun, and then just flip her over to the left and get the kill. That was sweet. And now they have also Web Weavers. So Web Weavers are on the move, and with all the walls that they opened up, that's a leading experience. Might even get a fort here. So, are they going to get that? Vala is also going to get her first quest reward in only a few more hits. And no, they're not going to quite get to level 10. Nah, no, that's not going to happen. Yeah, Misha is currently, of course, still eating also a lot of damage down at the bottom of the map and is sitting up at the front here. As Krankle is at the top trying to guard the play. Yeah, another move. Nice whip into the wall, and play is immediately low. And that's exactly how you want your opponent's tank. Low on HP, so he's going to be super hesitant engaging. Deckard Cain is going to try and heal him up here, but Vala is already moving towards the top side. Positioning is on point. The Web Weaver is pushing in. Sylvanas is dealing with the situation in the middle of the map, but up at the top it doesn't look too rosy for the Space Goofs. They are likely going to lose that fort. Even if it doesn't fall, it will be incredibly low, but they are dropping it, and they're getting so close to level 10 that it's going to be an issue. Specifically with another whip into the wall. Nano just landing these time and time again. I mean, I think he has a career as an archaeologist here. Either that or OnlyFans, one of the two. But yeah, I'm going to go for the indie prognosis. With level 10 and 4 kills to 0, half level lead and the opponent without their healer, it's a move for boss. So 68 stacks already for Vala, which means that she's just 1 stack away from 69. Nice. But yeah, heroics are going to kick in, but nobody is going to deal with this boss. Instead, they're pushing at the bottom of the map, so they're trying to split the map a little bit. Good for them. And yeah, off we go. Dequaza, 27 gems from... They haven't turned a single one in yet. Not one gem has been turned in yet. So they have 48, just saying. So the blue team has 48. Could go for another one here. And Nubarak, stun, 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 stun. Play just wants to play the game. It's in the name. But they're having none of it. So can they turn in and get another... Yeah, defense is happening at the top against the boss. And they're going for another turn in and they're going to get it. Ooh, that is getting really tricky. There's a lot of gems already lost for the Space Goofs, and if now with the second Web Weaver wave they're being forced in weird fights and lose more, then it's of course gonna be disastrous. Black hole for Tassadar, but the fort at the bottom of the map is about to go down. Urel whipped into the wall. Nice stuns at least. Vala is low, is trying to get out. The heals are coming. Cocoon used against Oriel. Divine Shield on Garrosh. Ah, Black Hole Uther. But Vala is coming in with big damage now and is able to drop Tassadar. Now they're moving in for Dequaza. Oriel is dead, but they still have a support. They still have a healer. And this is way too many gems lost. Way too much for comfort. I mean, they're crushing it here. 85 stacks for Gavlo. The damage is... I mean, it's just there. 20,000 currently, 68,000, 69,000 now on siege. One fort at the bottom of the map gone. The one at the top is also going to get attacked. This one, I mean, look at how far away they're pushed already, and they lost so many gems in these last encounters too. Play still holds on to 26. They're trying to go for him again. Gavlo is realizing there's actually a chance to maybe even take him down, but I suppose that the fort in the middle of the map is going to get murdered as well. Went into Tempered by Discipline, not even Gloom. Absolutely disrespecting Sylvanas and Tassadar here. So they're like, yeah, no, bullet damage, I don't care. But yeah, they could go for the middle fort. And, boah. 51 gems! Guys, that's all that the Space Goofs have. 51 gems! They haven't turned a single one in. The other team already had 2 full turn-ins. Disastrous. Vala is just going in for more level 1 padding. She has 100 now, so that's more damage on the auto attacks. Oriel dies again. Maybe even Sven is gonna fall here. Finally a few kills for the Space Goofs. I mean, this was honestly needed. And they get their turn-in as well. Still trying to steal at least the camp before the turn-in is completed. But yeah, Vala is it's becoming a bit of a concern. Double support, really nice front line with a lot of stuns and safety tools, specifically with Garrosh. She gets the damage out and they are allowing her to stack and they haven't killed her, so that attack speed is there. And we're at level 13. Next talent here, 16. What does she get on 16? Manticore. And then you are in some trouble if you are the front line, because, yep, she is going to get all of that sweet extra damage. And she is going to completely crush you, turn you into a pincushion, as she's trying with an Uberag now, and it's like... And an Uberag is dead. Anoop is dead. Oriel with Aegis. Vala on the wrong side of the team fight, by the way, but she doesn't care. Gavlos to slowly stutter step back to safety, I want to say. Gets pushed back by Dequaza and just doesn't care. Kills 1, kills 2. This is ridiculous. Gavlo's just sitting there. Wait a second. So, if I kill you first, you can't do anything to me? Got it. I'll do that then. So, yeah. Huge. Absolutely huge. Look at this. Takes 1 out. By the way, there's a lot of gems lost too. So it's not only that they lost the heroes, they lost a lot of the gems that they still were holding. Only 1 fort at the bottom of the map is destroyed, and as a result, they're just moving cross-map, going for fort in the middle and take this one out without even any help of the objective. So, yeah, that's 130 stacks for Vala. They lock in level 16, and then we're going to get Manticore, and she is just going to do her thing. Manticore against Nuburak, against Yrel. That front line is gonna suffer. 33,000 damage for Gavlo now, and it's not... It is only gonna increase. I mean, duh, but you know what I mean. It's gonna increase by a lot. It would be kind of funny if someone would lose damage. How would that work? A hero that can actually lose damage. Does that mean you kind of screw up and then damage that you've done to an opponent gets healed up again? I'm not quite sure if this is an interesting concept or if it's insanely stupid. I think it's somewhere in between. It's a fine line between genius and yeah, stupidity. So maybe there's something there. Could be a cool hero. Not sure. Anyways, yeah, Manticore is in. They go for the boss as well. And apparently this time the red team decides that they need to do something about it. They just can't let it happen. And Yrel gets attacked right away. So Yrel gets just like whipped around literally this time. And Dequaza... Oh, Misha wanted to go in for another stun and that would have been the end of the Space Goat. But Yrel, yeah, she has to move away. And this is a problem. Siege Giants at the bottom of the map. At least for now they can deal with it. But just look at the gem count. And Anoop is dead. Anubarak died too. And now they go for Dequaza again. Just zone him away so that they can go for the turn-in. And that's Web Weavers. And guess where Vala is? You guessed correctly. She's already up at the boss at the top. So they want to go for everything. They're going for the fort here in the middle. And they're trying to counter pressure a bit. I mean, they have some space to work with. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, this one has to be dealt with. But boss at the top is about to be taken. They're still fighting down here. I mean, they have Dequaza just trying to escape. Dobby is also still sitting tight. Webweaver on the way down to the bottom of the map in order to attack the first keep. And at the top we have the double Whopper with Webweaver plus boss. Yeah. Vala, by the way, now on 36,000 damage. Tassadai is still closing in, but he has a lot of AoE. And just look at Play getting absolutely murdered again with the auto attacks from Vala. Uses the cocoon, but they can take Deckard Kane down even without her help. So Deckard is gone. Bala with the Divine Shield. Better safe than sorry. Trying to go for Dobby. Has still the Hatred stacks up. And Dobby just got murdered. Didn't get a sock or anything. Just dies. And Nuburak is also low. And Gavlo sees the next target. He's like, ooh, juicy. And I think this is gonna be it. I mean, let's be honest. The Raiders today just in top form. They look great here. 13 kills to 3. And the Space Goofs just didn't have it. Space Goofs just simply didn't have it today. That's a win. That's 3 kills, 3 maps to 0. And therefore the Raiders move on to the next round of the tournament to face off against the next opponent, whereas the Space Goofs drop into the losers bracket. GG.